This
12 years of
conference will
experience
now
in
be
IT.
recorded.
Sorry. Mhm. Overall, 11 years of experience in IT, and I have worked in different platforms and different technologies like front-end technologies, and I have worked on back-based forms, and I have worked as Scrum Master as well. So I just wanted to switch my platform from one technology to another. So I have chosen this for platform. That's it from my
Okay.
end.
All right. Thank you. Min, you can go next. I hope
Yeah.
I'm pronouncing your name correct.
Hello, I'm a fresher and I want to know more about Power.
Okay. So, like, you have, can you just let me know more about your background? Like, when you say you're a fresher, so, I mean, what's your educational background?
I'm working in logistic industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That helps. Okay. Now, the reason I will continue. See, the reason I generally ask about the background is you might be thinking why this was all going to be about me, right? Or the session and the technology, then why I'm asking about you. See, the reason is it's not a one fit solution like which we can tell you, or like a one fit demo which we can show it to you. If I say something and if it's not relatable to you and it's not relevant for you, what's the point? So that's why, like, the people who are currently working or having some industry experience are able to understand the technical jargon more in a better way compared to the ones who are fresher or like new to the technology. So we have to keep all those things in mind. That's the reason generally I just try to understand the background of the batch. Okay, this is fine. Let's continue. So I hope you have some, like, when you're coming to this session, I believe you have some idea about Power Apps. This is a Power Apps training session, and I'm expecting that you have some idea, like 2% or 5% idea about the app, the technology. That's why you have started thinking about the Power Apps session, and we'll just pick on that. So let me share my screen quickly so that we can discuss more about it. Let me know if my screen is visible. You can type in the chat. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. See, Power Platform. This is a Power Apps training session, but apart from Power Apps, we have three more components in Power Platform. The first one is the Power Apps, which you already know. Apart from that, there is something called Power Automate. Okay. Then next, what we have is Power BI, and then the last one is we have a virtual agent. I'm not able to put it in the slideshow mode, so let's see it in this particular way. Now, Power Apps is the application development component. Okay, this Power Apps technology is basically used for application development. The other component, the Power Automate, is for process building. Okay, for process automation. For example, application you already know. Okay, you are using an app. You might be having multiple apps in your application, in your phone. Sorry, but Power Automate. I'll give you a quick example. That suppose you are submitting a order in Amazon, and as soon as you do that, you get a notification in your WhatsApp as well as email as well as a phone. So what's happening there? Basically, a process is running in the background which is sending out notifications to the requester, or basically the user who is placing the order. Similar kind of functionalities or similar kind of scenarios we can achieve using Power Automate. So we can build a flow, we can build a process using Power Automate. And then comes the Power BI. So this is one of the most commonly used tool. You might have heard about it. This is mostly used for reporting. like apart from Tableau and other reporting tools, this is one of the most commonly used reporting tool for visualization purposes. And then comes the Power Virtual Agent. So this Power Virtual Agent is a chatbot component. So I hope you all have seen what is a chatbot. Anytime you log into a site, like most of the site will be having a chatbot in the bottom right hand side. It automatically pops up and it asks you like, how are you, and or how can I help you, all those things. So that's what a chatbot is. This particular session is about Power Apps, but we will be also covering some very basic aspects of Power Automate. The reason for that is that if you are going to create an app, if you're going to create an app, there are certain things which you need to set up the processes. And until you know that, I mean, your app application but development will not be complete. The coding and everything is fine, but there are certain components you need to know from Power Automate as well. Otherwise, you cannot do an end-to-end development. I'll give you one small example. We'll be doing projects later. So like in one of the projects, and not just for in our project, even if you're doing project like in your organizations when you are, I mean, done with the Power Apps training, once you are submitting a request, as soon as you are submitting a request, you want it to be sent to an approver. Okay, so two of you are currently, I think, working, Min and Ashwini. So just I'll give you one small example. You might be doing that. So when you're working in your respective organization, you might be having a company portal, right? You might be having a company portal where you are submitting a request for leave. You want to go on a leave and you apply it on your
Yes.
company's portal.
Yeah.
And what happens in that case? That as soon as you do that, it goes to your respective managers, and the manager will review that and he'll approve or reject it. So two things are involved here. The first thing is the portal. Okay, I mean everything is happening from the portal itself, but basically two things are happening here. First thing is the submission of request which you did. Okay, I mean your date of leave, I mean date of vacation, and type of leave. It's a sick leave or it's a casual leave. Just trying to give an example here, and that's the submission part. Your job is done there. Now a flow is running in the background which is sending these notifications to your approver. He's not going to log into your company portal and he's going to check, right? He needs to be notified that someone is requesting your attention, someone is requesting your approval. So he'll be getting that notification in his email, whatever mail he's using, and then he will log in and approve or reject that one. That's the same thing we do it in Power Apps also. Like this is basically a general perspective, general scenario I'm talking about here. This is what happens, an approval process. That's how it works. So when it comes to Power Apps, the application, I can help you with the application development part, and okay, you'll know how to submit a request in the database and everything. But if we have to work on the approval process like that, I mean, if you don't know the Power Automate part, the flow part, you won't be able to achieve it. So that's why we'll be covering certain aspects of Power Automate as well, so that you are like comfortable with the tool first, and then you're able to implement these scenarios. So that's the reason we'll be having this Power Automate part. Apart from that, just a like quick refresher, or like I said, when you're coming here, you might have already done your research regarding Power Apps, but still, just for those who have not done it, see why Power Apps is in such high demand right now. Okay, why everyone is trying to pursue these Power Apps? Even non-technical people are I mean, I think more non-technical people are moving towards it. There are certain reasons behind it. First, the learning curve I mean, it's very low in this case, and that's why it's easy to learn. So like people try to learn this tool so that they can start their application development as soon as possible. The same thing if you try to learn any other programming language, Java or .NET or Python, and it's having a lot of classes and libraries, and it's like a pain. I'm not complaining here. I'm just comparing here. All the programming languages are beautiful. It's just that they all have their own like shenanigans. So when it comes to Power Apps, the learning curve is quite low. It's very easy to learn. It's very easy to grasp. So that's one reason there is a very sudden shift in people moving to these Power Apps. Even in my current organization, people are like not even the people from director level or the people who are non-technical. They are trying to learn this because like the learning curve is quite easy. The second thing is, as you know, this is a session of low code, and you have seen that posters and everything, a lot of things in your, like whenever you were inquiring about other sessions also. This is a low code and no code tool. You might have heard that low code, no code. This, I mean, if I have to build a functionality in in some other programming language, I will have to write 100,000 lines of code just to achieve that. I need to do a lot of infrastructure setup, and I need to get procure a lot of licenses and everything. But that's not the case in when it comes to Power Apps. It's very intuitive. It's very developer friendly. I'm saying developer friendly, not user friendly. It's user friendly, but it's also developer friendly, because the language we use, the programming language we use in Power Apps is called FX language. So that FX language is very easy. It's to understand. It's like things which you talk about in daily life. So using that way, you can relate what you're trying to configure the formulas and properties. So the it's like the you don't have to write too many lines of code in that case. Okay. So that's another reason for that. And the third reason I already mentioned is the infrastructure setup. The infrastructure cost is very low. I mean, if you are currently working in your organization and if you're using a like Microsoft stack, that means if you're using Teams for communication or Outlook for communication, that means you already have access to Power Apps. You don't have to like buy it separately. Your organization has already given you access to that because it is part of Office 365 stack. So that's easy. I mean, that's how this is. I mean, it's quite easy, quite accessible. The infrastructure cost is very low, the learning curve is very low, and that's the reason there is a sudden shift in this learning in this particular tool. Any questions till now? Anything before I proceed? Feel free to chip in, interrupt me in between. Okay.
Yeah, actually, there is Power Pages as well, right? One more domain, I mean, one more part, I think.
This is that Power Pages is part of Power Apps only. So
Okay.
okay, like okay, since you have touched that topic, let's dig into more detail a bit. See what Ashwini is talking about is, I didn't want to like bore you with boring slides. Basically, that's why I didn't proceed with that. See, basically there are three types of app which we can build in Power Apps. The first is Canvas app. Okay, I'm not sharing my screen. Just a second. Okay, I think it's visible now. See, there are three types of app. I mean, three types of app we can create in Power Apps. The first is Canvas app. The another one is model driven app, and the third is the portals, or now it is called as Power Pages. So what was called as portals before is now has been renamed as Power Pages. So Microsoft keep on doing that. They like to keep changing names. There's something called common data service and dataverse also, like they also change their names in that case. So it's the same. The portals, which is one of the apps which we can create in Power Apps, it's now called as Power Pages. So most of the time in your organization, like most of the time we are dealing with Canvas apps only. The reason for that is, I mean, it has its own advantage. See, Canvas app, you can connect your Canvas app. Basically, you can create your app. Okay, I don't want to confuse you. If you're creating the application using Canvas app approach, you can connect to like hundreds of connectors. There's no limit to that. When I say connectors, that means data sources. Okay, you might have at least heard about Excel. That is one of the data source. There's SharePoint, there's SQL, there's Salesforce, there's Oracle. There's a lot of tons of data sources. Okay, so you can connect your application to any of the data sources using Canvas app. But when it comes to model driven app, you can just connect to one data source. You just have one option that is called Dataverse. And that Dataverse is the inbuilt application and inbuilt database of Power Platform. So that's another beauty of Power Platform, that you don't have to rely on other databases for configuration. They are providing you their own database as well. So if you want, you can use that as well. And then comes the portal. So these portals are basically used if you are creating a site or creating an application for external users for public access basically. Okay, if you are like once you're done with the training or once you're done with your knowledge and everything, when you're implementing an app, you'll be doing it for your business, for some client, and those are internal applications. But what if you want to create an application that is accessible over the like like internet, like it's very easy to use? What you do? What will you do in that case? In those cases, we create a type of app called as portals. Okay, basically for external access. So right now, if I'm creating an app in my organization, you cannot use it because that's an internal application. You are not able to use it. Of course, I can enable for external use, but there's some extra steps are involved in here. But if I create an application of the type portals or power pages, which Ashwini mentioned, it's for a common use. So you can use it even from your phone and like from where whatever locations you're logging in. So it's for public access only. So you need to decide basically in that case which is the type of app you need to create. Most of the times it's going to be Canvas app because apart from the data source part, there's another advantage is that it gives a lot of customization options. It gives a lot of customization options, not only just from logic perspective, even from designing perspective. When it comes to model driven app, the design is quite limited. Okay, they'll be giving you some kind of fixed template which you have to just configure it and drag and drop kind of thing. But when it comes to Canvas app, you'll have to write some lines of code. Of course, you'll have to write some lines of code, but the customization options are unlimited. If I want something to be red color, I can make it red color. If I want to have a particular logo at this particular place, I can do that. So I can play with the design as I want. Those options are not there in case of model driven app, and it's a challenge when it comes to portal also. So that's the reason this Canvas app is mostly preferred in organizations because ultimately you want your application to look good. The logic comes second. The first thing is the look and feel, how your application looks. And that's the reason this Canvas app is preferred because the customization options, the designing options are like too many. So Ashwini, I hope that answers your question. Yes, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
tell
Thank
me
you
your
so much.
okay.
Yeah, I got it. And also,
So
I got one more doubt actually. Sorry to
yeah,
interrupt.
go
Yeah,
on.
by this, we will be developing only internal applications of the particular organization, or we can develop the external applications as well that we can deliver it to some customers like that.
No, that's what. See, I am not clear what your understanding is regarding the internal applications. When you say customers, those are business users only, right?
Yeah, yeah. But suppose if you take any e-commerce website, I mean, like for that we are developing an app or the internal applications like leave application or any other internal applications of a particular organization.
You can create both actually. Okay, you can create
Okay.
both the type of apps. So again, depending on your requirement, the first thing is you need to choose what is the kind of app you have to create. Okay, another example I'll give you, it's just not about the app kind of app, it's also about the data size you're dealing with. So like you're giving an example of e-commerce site. Now e-commerce site will be having a very large volume of data.
Yeah.
Okay, compared to leave the compared to this one what we were talking about, the portal, the leave one where you're applying your leave. So when you're comparing it with an e-commerce website, the data size is going to be very high. So in that
Yeah.
cases you'll be preferring either a model driven app or a portal because they are much more equipped to handle the data part. They can handle the business data like in millions. But when it comes to Canvas app, you'll have to put a lot of extra effort. It's not that we cannot do it. It's just that something is very readily available to you in case of model driven app and portals, and something is not readily available in Canvas app. So you'll have to write certain extra lines of code so that your application can handle that huge data.
Okay.
So you can design both kind of apps, not just for your internal use, but also for customers. Okay. There are a lot of it. Just some extra steps are involved in those cases.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll give you one more example. Maybe that might resolve your query about this. So recently, like we developed an app which was not, which we created for some warehouse users. Okay. Now those warehouse users were having an issue that their phones were not having I mean, they were having some network issues and connectivity issues in their respective workplace. So they needed an application which should work offline as well. And that is the first requirement. The second thing is they should be able to fill the data and everything and check the updated data. So we created a application for them that works even in offline mode. So even if
Yeah.
your application is not connected to internet and they are like working in their warehouses and they need to update the supply order and the tracking order and everything, they can do that using that particular application. So like that is one of the apps we have created recently.
Okay, Kumar, got it. Thank you.
Now, like I said, I did it. That's the reason I stopped here, because I mean, until the question comes from you, what is, I mean, I don't think you'd be able to relate it, right? I mean, what is a model driven app and what is a business process flow? These are all much more technical details. So this is not a training session, right? This is a demo session, and this is all about me and you. So you have some doubts, and I want to clear those doubts. That's why I'm not jumping into much more technical details. But like Ashwini asked, you are free to ask questions, so, and then we can pick that up. So I hope that's okay. Okay. All three of you, I think you're there. Yes, you all are there. So is this fine, or you want me to dig more into the application part, the Power Platform part? Like I said, this will depend on how you want to proceed. Do you want me to discuss more on the Power Platform, or we can discuss about the courses and everything? You can type in the chat.
Yeah, in this course, the Power Virtual Agent and Power BI will not be covered, right?
No. So let's
Okay.
talk about that. Let's talk about the course part. So in this course, we'll be covering Power Apps only, and we'll be having 3 to 4 sessions on Power Automate as well. Like I mentioned, the reason why we are adding certain parts of Power Automate. Madhu, can you please put yourself on mute, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. So yes, like I said, this is a Power App session, and we'll be having certain aspects of Power Automate as well, for the obvious reason which I stated. If I don't do that, you won't be like able to. I mean, no, I don't say able to, but you'll be missing something out when it comes to end-to-end development for an application. Very basic thing I'm talking about. You just submitted one request. Forget about the approval process and everything. You have created an application. Okay, you have created something on similar lines with the e-commerce website, some Amazon and everything, and you're placing an order, you're submitting a request. The least thing you need to do is, like, at least you should notify yourself, at least, that okay, this is the order which you have, or this is the request which you have placed. So at least for that part also we have to touch the Power Automate part, at least for sending the notifications. So, like you mentioned, Power BI and Power Virtual Agent is not part of it. That will be a separate course. I mean, this is just for Power Apps session. Apart from that, if for those who are looking for a job change, we will provide resume support as well. So we'll help you in the resume, I mean, the resume part, how to what to write in the resume and how to include different projects and everything. And we'll be conducting mock interviews as well. This is again optional. This is not mandatory. This request has to come from your end, and this is not something we are going to charge or anything. This is non-chargeable, but you will have to make a request on on your behalf, because so we are not going to pursue you on this, that okay, please have a mock session, everything. If you need it, you let us know, and then we'll be conducting 3 to 4 mock interviews, and we'll be like helping you in the resume part as well. That's one thing. I hope that is clear. Again, like I said, this is optional and this is as per the requirements. So if you're not looking for a job change or job switch, then I don't think that is relevant for you. The another thing is regarding certification. So there's a certification called PL 900, that is Power Platform Fundamentals. So we'll be helping you with that as well. Okay, the certification cost is 3,600. Again, you don't have to pay to me or anyone from the training institute. You have to go to the Microsoft site yourself and schedule it and then pay on the Microsoft site. We will be helping you with the preparations part. We'll be guiding you with the questions. So like our previous batches or current batches, whatever are going on, they are like they are giving certification exams or they are giving interviews. So those are all live questions. Okay. For example, tomorrow, if you are going for a, like we are talking right now, but after 1 month, if you are going for a certification exam, we will be connecting with you and we'll be asking, okay, what are the questions they were asking. So at least you'll be remembering 3 to 4 questions, right? We'll be making a note of those questions and we'll be passing along. So those are all live questions which are being asked in the interviews as well as the certifications, the certification exam. So I mean, again, like I said, this is also optional. The request has to come from your end that, okay, I need the PL 900 questions. So it's non-chargeable and it's not mandatory. The request has to come from your end because different people are having different needs. So we are not like pushing anyone to do that. If you need that, we are there for you. The next thing is this will be a 40 hours course. So I mean that's around one month 10 days, and we don't have sessions on weekends because most of the people are working, so they also need to chill and relax on weekends. So the sessions generally happen on Monday to Friday, for 1 hour daily, and no classes on weekends, and it will be a 40-hour session. The last part is that after 40 hours, we have seen that like in multiple batches, what's happening currently is that you will be joining with a lot of enthusiasm for the first 10 classes, and sometimes what happens is you are having a bad day or you are not interested in having a session, right? Too many things can happen. You're having some commitment, you're going outside for a movie or something, a lot of things can happen. So you're not available for the session, and once the 30 or 40-hour session is completed, the training is completed, then you will start learning in your own time, and then some doubts will be coming up. That is what generally happens when it comes to online training or classroom trainings. It's very rare. Out of 100, like only 10 people will be paying attention in the class. The rest 90 people, they start learning in their own convenient time, and that's completely fine. Even I used to do the same. But what happens is when the training session is completed, you need someone, right? You need someone to guide you if you're having some kind of doubt. So we will be available for another like 1 month. So you can reach out to me anytime you want. I'll be sharing a email address with you, once we start the training session. So we'll be sharing the email address with you, and you can drop a mail and ask to have a session, and we'll be having a session and we'll clear all your doubts. Right. So when you start practicing, then only you will be getting some kind of errors or like facing any issues. It can be due to any reason. It can be due to the connectivity issues, the data source issue, or the coding or syntax, anything. A lot of things can happen. So if you're stuck, we'll be there to support you for another 1 month. So you can take your own time. We won't be having the regular classes or anything in those 1 month. But I mean, if you need any kind of technical support, you can let us know, and we'll connect in that case. So that is the thing. And just let me show you the course curriculum as well. You can reach out to Subbu. I think he was the one who sent you the invite. So you can reach out to him. He will be sharing the course curriculum with you on the mail. I'll just share with you right now in the, I'll just share that course curriculum and show you what are the things we are covering. There's one more thing I was supposed to cover. Let me tell you that as well. I hope my screen is visible. So one more important thing which you guys might need is, or anyone, I mean, they need is that, okay, training is fine, right? Theory and everything is fine, but how are you going to practice it? If I, if we have a session today and like you need to have an environment or you need to have a test setup, right? Where you can practice the concepts. So we will be supplying you with that also. We'll be providing you with that also. We will be giving a test environment setup, and we'll be setting it up for everyone. So we have an entire 1 hour session just for that. And you will know why this is a 1 hour session. Okay. The easy thing to do is that I can just create it for you and then send it to you. But no, that's not the case. We will do it live. You need to have your a unique email ID and a unique phone number which is not connected to Microsoft account, and we'll create individual accounts for everyone. So you can practice it in your own at your own time and in your own convenience. So that's one another session we'll be having once we start the session. So we'll be just to be clear, we'll be giving you a test environment setup for your practice.